and just tried to take it a day at a time because I have been through a lot in my life.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at Oscar winners who made decisions that destroyed their careers. While some of these individuals would eventually rebound, they still experienced the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
I just want to go back to work. I would much rather play you in a movie than to be sitting here answering questions on your show.
Number 10. Cuba Gooding Jr., Jerry Maguire. Cuba Gooding Jr. was on a roll when he won Best Supporting Actor for Jerry Maguire, culminating in one of the most enthusiastic acceptance speeches ever.
Congratulations, you're still my agent.
Over the following decades, Gooding took on several questionable projects, from failed Oscar bait like Radio to whatever Boat Trip was. While many Oscar winners have had some bad movies to their name, Gooding's reputation was truly damaged in 2019 when misconduct accusations first arose. Although one case was settled, Gooding pleaded guilty to forcible touching in 2022.
His lawyers argue that overzealous prosecutors caught up in the fervor of the Me Too movement tried to turn commonplace gestures into crimes.
Gooding avoided jail time, but his name resurfaced amid Rodney Jones' lawsuit against P. Diddy. Jones accused Gooding of non-consensual contact, making the actor part of the suit. Gooding denies Jones's claims, but money might not make this case go away.
Everything that happens in my life is for a reason. I believe that. And if I continue to walk on my path, whatever that is, I know at the end result, it'll be to make me stronger, to be a better person, to be a better father, And right now, that's the moment I'm in.
Number 9. Bob Gardner. Closed Mondays. Will Vinton and Bob Gardner shared in a Best Animated Short victory for their clay stop-motion film, Closed Mondays. The two ultimately parted ways, with Vinton building his claymation empire, while Gardner pursued other projects. Although Gardner was a talented, pioneering animator, some might describe him as his own worst enemy, sometimes a mad genius, and other times, scary mad.
His activity would flare up whenever the studio was getting a lot of press. It seemed to agitate him.
Gardner lacked focus in his creative endeavors as well, resulting in a smaller output than Vinton's. He was also known for being ill-tempered, which became more apparent as Vinton saw further success. Feeling that his contributions to claymation were overlooked, Gardner reportedly sent Vinton death threats. Gardner's struggles with substance use and mental health persisted, tragically taking his own life in 2005.
Bob and I did a wonderful thing together. I wish that we could have both cherished that into the sunset. It's hard for me to talk about it because it was such a sad thing.
Number 8. Mel Gibson, Braveheart. Mel Gibson's career has been a roller coaster, putting it mildly. By the mid-90s, he was not only among Hollywood's most bankable leading men, but Braveheart scored him Oscars for Best Director and Picture.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Almost 10 years after this victory, Gibson was arrested for driving while inebriated, making anti-Semitic remarks in the process. Gibson inched toward a comeback until a disturbing phone conversation between him and former partner Oksana Grigorieva was made public.
40-year-old Grigorieva is trying to get custody of their 8-month-old daughter. She filed a complaint with police last week that launched a domestic violence investigation against the 54-year-old actor.
Coupled with the domestic violence case, Gibson's career was DOA. He resurrected his reputation in 2016, though, directing his way to another Oscar nomination for Hacksaw Ridge.
Why didn't you say nothing to us?
Because he would have tried and talked me out of it, and I know what I'm doing is right.
Gibson has since seen success in front of and behind the camera, although he's become more careful about what he says. Number 7. Richard Dreyfuss, The Goodbye Girl. It appeared that Richard Dreyfuss was just getting started when he won Best Actor for The Goodbye Girl, making him the category's youngest recipient for a period.
Don't hang up! Please, don't hang up. I don't have any more change. I'm soaked to the bone, Miss McFadden, and I have a very low threshold for disease.
However, Dreyfuss's career and personal life soon spiraled due to substance use. Dreyfuss also had a history of mental health issues, although he wouldn't speak publicly about his bipolar disorder diagnosis until years later. Dreyfuss saw a comeback in the late 80s and early 90s, getting another Oscar nomination for Mr. Holland's Opus.
It was good.
Over the past couple decades, though, Dreyfuss's prominent roles have not only been few and far between, but he's alienated audiences with controversial comments. This includes a 2024 Jaws retrospective, which saw Dreyfuss go off on a rant seen as transphobic, sexist, and all around painful.
People started leaving the theater in droves, and that may be the reason why there isn't actual video footage of this, is that people were so disgusted that they didn't even think to take out their phone. They thought about just getting out of there.
Number 6, Michael Cimino, The Deer Hunter. After winning Best Picture and Director for The Deer Hunter, Michael Cimino had the freedom to pursue whatever passion project he wanted.
Howdy, Jim. Howdy. I will be damned. What the hell are you doing here in that rig? There's hard times, Jim. Citizen's got to make $1 anyway, can't he, says?
He chose Heaven's Gate, an epic western with United Artists giving him creative control. The studio didn't count on Cimino being such a perfectionist, resulting in the budget, schedule, and runtime going off the rails. Maybe this would have been vindicated if Cimino turned in a crowd-pleasing masterpiece, but the studio wasn't pleased. Multiple cuts were released, none of which were especially well received.
What the hell would you think I would say?
God damn it, it's different this time.
Bombing like crazy, Heaven's Gate didn't just ruin Cimino's promising young career, it saw a shift from big-budget, auteur-driven projects to studio-mandated blockbusters. While Heaven's Gate has gained a reappraisal in recent years, it was too little, too late for Cimino.
What'll you do? My job.
Number 5, Tatum O'Neal, Paper Moon. At age 10, Tatum O'Neal became the youngest recipient of a competitive Oscar. She still holds that record for her exceptional performance in Paper Moon.
She don't even know me.
Well, she's gonna know you now.
She ain't gonna want me.
You're making trouble for her. She hasn't even seen you yet.
Like so many other former child stars, though, O'Neal's life would be full of missteps, some of which were self-destructive. It didn't help that O'Neal grew up in a toxic environment, claiming to have experienced multiple forms of abuse.
When you are so little, you don't really have a chance to figure out who you are because people are telling you, objectifying you and or telling you who you are.
Like her parents, O'Neal also became reliant on substances, leading to legal and health issues. While O'Neal continued to work on occasion, her sporadic film and TV appearances have been interspersed with tragedy. Reflecting on how she was brought up and her own decisions, O'Neal said, "When you're treated badly, it just seemed normal to continue to do that to myself."
I've had a hard life. And I rarely cry, but I am crying a lot more lately, and that's a very good thing for my life.
Number 4, Roman Polanski, The Pianist. Directing classics like Rosemary's Baby and Chinatown, Roman Polanski's name became marred in 1977 when he was accused of drugging and assaulting a minor. Before he could be sentenced, Polanski fled to Europe.
He was arrested and imprisoned for psychiatric tests. Under threat of further sentencing, he fled America and hasn't set foot there for 20 years.
Polanski is still considered a fugitive in the US, to which he's never returned. That doesn't mean he stopped working. He even won an Oscar for directing The Pianist almost 25 years later.
It's terrible. They're hunting people in the streets. They've taken Henrik.
All right, go home, all right? Go home, I'll take care of it.
Amid the hashtag #MeToo movement, many reevaluated what this win said about the Academy at the time. The Academy also seemingly took a look in the mirror, revoking Polanski's membership in 2018. Polanski subsequently sued the Academy, but after all these years, it appears Hollywood has officially turned their back on the once celebrated director.
Film director Roman Polanski is back in the news a week after he described the #MeToo movement as mass hysteria and hypocrisy. This time, he's threatening to sue the Oscars Academy after he was expelled from its ranks.
Number 3, Emil Jannings, The Way of All Flesh and The Last Command. We're going back to the first Academy Awards, when Emil Jannings took home Best Actor. It was a different time when somebody could win an Oscar for multiple performances, and silent pictures were the norm.
When the Academy Awards began, performers were judged by their body of work in a given year, so Jannings actually won for 2 films that he made in 1928, The Last Command and The Way of All Flesh.
With the talkie about to take over, Jannings' German accent proved distracting for American audiences. This prompted Jannings to seek work in Europe, where he found himself performing in Nazi propaganda films.
Emil Jannings soon sabotaged his chances to return to Hollywood because back in Germany he lent his full support to the Nazi Party and began acting in Nazi propaganda films.
When Hitler inevitably fell from power, Jannings' career went up in flames. Jannings supposedly carried his Oscar around, hoping it'd protect him. While Jannings never faced severe consequences, his association with Nazi Germany left him unhireable. It's been rumored that the Academy almost gave Best Actor to the Rin Tin Tin dog over Jannings. That might have aged better.
Not only was he the first Best Actor winner, he was also the first person ever presented with an Academy statuette. The winners were announced 3 months before the ceremony took place.
Number 2, Kevin Spacey, The Usual Suspects, and American Beauty. 4 years after picking up the Best Supporting Actor Oscar for The Usual Suspects, Kevin Spacey accepted Best Actor for his performance as Lester Burnham.
Lester, you have such hostility in you!
You mind? I'm trying to work out here. Unless you want to spot me.
Lester, you will not get away with this. You can be sure of that.
During his speech, Spacey thanked his friends for pointing out his worst qualities, adding, "That's why I loved playing Lester, because we got to see all of his worst qualities, and we still grew to love him." These words took on a more unsettling sentiment in 2017.
In 2017, when everything happened and I lost everything, I remember I said to Evan, I don't know who I am without my work. I don't know acting is all I've ever known.
Just as Lester lusts after a teenage girl, Spacey was accused of sexually assaulting a then underage Anthony Rapp years earlier. As Hollywood cut ties with Spacey, he faced multiple legal battles. While he's continually come out unscathed in court, Spacey's comeback attempts haven't gone as well. It may be all downhill from here.
I accept my accountability. I think it's incredibly important. I am not going to be accountable for things I didn't do or that were exaggerated or greatly changed. But I absolutely believe that my role in it was my role in it.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Harvey Weinstein, Shakespeare in Love. Even in 1999, Shakespeare in Love's Best Picture triumph was seen as controversial.
Good sir, I heard you were a poet. But a poet of no words.
Producer Harvey Weinstein was accused of spreading a smear campaign against presumed frontrunner Saving Private Ryan. Some also took issue with all 5 of the film's producers receiving Oscars, including Weinstein. Of course, the win is even more notorious because of what we know now about the former Hollywood mogul.
Weinstein, who had once been one of Hollywood's most important producers, losing his place at the helm of Miramax, the company declaring bankruptcy. And this morning, the 2-time Oscar winner is in custody after being found guilty.
Although Weinstein was the Academy's golden boy for decades, they wasted no time expelling the producer when his history of sexual assault allegations made headlines. Being found guilty in 2020, Weinstein may spend the rest of his life behind bars. Looking back at all the Oscar-winning films Weinstein had a hand in, one must question the true price of Little Gold Men.
It saddens me that everybody woke up because of Harvey Weinstein. On the other hand, thank God we've woken up.
Which Oscar win do you look back on with conflicted feelings? Let us know in the comments.
For Bob, winning the Academy Award was such a heady thing.
Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.